Howdy Explorers, I'm Joe. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a rare example of serendipity. I get to finish out Spooktoberfest and do a more or less normal video right along with it. Today's video will feel like two videos in one. Consider that my Spooktoberfest gift to all of you guys. Today, we're going to talk about the Maryland State Capitol building in Annapolis, Maryland. To talk about this Capitol building, we need to talk about another Capitol building and briefly Maryland as a whole. The first capital of Maryland was St. Mary's City in what is today Southern Maryland. For those coming from the Point Lookout video, that area. On March 27, 1634, English colonists led by Leonard Calvert founded St. Mary's City on a Seco-Wocomoco village after signing a treaty with the Yaucomaco people, which I'm sure was entirely in good faith. Anyway, the first state house was built in St. Mary's City in 1676. Until that time, official business had been conducted in the personal houses of the leaders of the colony. St. Mary's City would remain the capital of the colony of Maryland until 1694 to 1695, at some point in between there through the winter, when it would be moved. Which brings us to Annapolis, or Providence, as it was originally called by the Puritans who settled there in 1649. In 1695, when the capital was moved there, the name was changed to honor Princess Anne, later Queen Anne. The move was due to St. Mary's City being significantly far south. Annapolis is a more central location for all the different folks to get to. So, now that the capital's here in Annapolis, the state government needed a place to meet, and so naturally they built a state house there in the 1690s. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other ideas, and that building burned to the ground in 1704. Then, after rebuilding another state building right on top of the ruins of the first, in an incredible sense of responsible spending, the state government ordered the building razed to the ground to build the new, current, state building in 1772. From 1772 to 1797, the state capitol building was under construction, taking so long mostly due to the pesky American Revolution. During this period, from 1783 to 1784, Annapolis, and therefore Maryland, served as the capital of the United States. The Congress of the Confederation met there, and that is where Ratification Day, or when the Constitution was signed and ratified, the celebration of that was held there in Annapolis. Additionally, the Treaty of Paris, which formally ended the American Revolution, was signed in the old Senate chamber. The Capitol building in Annapolis is the oldest still in continuous use state capitol building in the U.S. And I didn't really have anywhere better to put this small fact, so I'm just going to put it out here. The Capitol Dome in Annapolis is the largest wooden dome constructed without nails. So there are no nails in the holding that thing together. That is like pure mathematics, physics, all these different kinds of things to hold that thing together. And I find that so super cool and impressive. Now, with all of that history, does it surprise anybody listening that there are reportings of hauntings in the Capitol building and in the grounds around it? I don't think so, but I do for this want to focus on one story in particular. And that story is the story of Thomas Dance. Dance was a plasterer working on the dome of the Capitol building in 1793. Unfortunately for him, the scaffolding he was working on collapsed, and Dance fell 94-ish feet to his death. Even more tragically, after his death, his employer was a real piece of work and refused to give his final pay, his pension, and Dance's own tools to his wife and children. So they couldn't sell the tools, his kids couldn't use them to do any kind of labor. The family was absolutely destitute, and that led to them being deported all the way back to England after Dance's death. So that employer really just annihilated any chance for Dance's family to have any kind of life after his death. Today in the Capitol, rustlings can be heard, papers are blown around and messed up, statues are moved, and odd little things happen. Voices are also reported to be heard. People believe that it's the ghost of Dance making trouble for the work site that destroyed him and his family. So that was the Maryland State Capitol building. This one was definitely more history than ghostly, but I appreciate you guys humoring me. The Capitol building is definitely kind of creepy. When I was working there back in 2021 for a little while, I was mostly stuck in the tunnels underneath those buildings, and so that's like a whole world of its own, just kind of like stuffy air, like dank, deep. You're hearing things and you're like, what is that? But having said all of that, it was super cool to be in a place that had like so much history, and you can see, especially for, obviously I like Maryland, so it was cool to be able to see the different stages of Maryland, and even be in a place where, like, for a fact George Washington had been in, so it's like you get to kind of live history. And that's the cool thing about like going out to these places and like seeing different things, bringing this stuff to you guys, is that you feel connected to the history. So if you ever have time, like, I highly recommend heading on down to Annapolis and doing a tour. There's a cool tour of the historic district as like a whole, and also the Capitol building. There are ghost tours if that's more your thing, which is totally cool. We didn't really talk very much about ghosts here today, but allegedly there are several more hauntings in a lot of the outbuildings and area of the historic district. And the town itself has like a ton of stuff to do. If you like pubs and bars, there's a bunch of those. If you like naval stuff, I mean, the Naval Academy's in Annapolis, so obviously there's a lot of that kind of thing going on. And speaking of the Naval Academy, only because it's the parking for this event, but for any runners out there, the Annapolis Running Festival, the course goes through the historic downtown, so you can see the Capitol and stuff like that, and it's a super good run. So yeah, definitely check out Annapolis if you have nothing better to do. Some crabs are good. Had some crabs down there about a year ago, so there are some good spots. And yeah, it's really scenic. It's like right on the mouth of the Severn River, so from different parts of it, you can see that river kind of as it goes out to the bay. Yeah, Annapolis is really pretty. So that's the video. Thanks for joining me. This Spooktoberfest. I hope you guys kind of liked the departure from the strictly history and kind of local lore. If you did, I'll try to incorporate it in as we go back to our normal content here. So in November, I'm going to go back to the normal upload and content schedule. I'm thinking 1 to 2 videos per month, probably closer to 1 for a little while. So stick around for that, and I appreciate the support there. And yeah, going forward, we'll have some live video and some other production niceties I've been working on to kind of spice the videos up a little bit so it's not just stills. So thanks for your support again. I was Joe, and I'll see you in the next one.